Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with my week 11 team builder of the P4G. Just a little bit of a rundown. We are currently 9-1. This week we are taking on the South Florida Bulus, coached by LynxForte. Now, the biggest thing that I think that he has over my team is the speed tier of Crocodile. Crocodile is faster than my entire team besides my Zygarde, but besides that, it is faster than basically Roserade and down. So immediately when I see that, I know that he's going to be bringing a jolly Crocodile. That's like the best thing he should bring versus me. You don't risk max speed Roserade, whether it be Scarf Moxie or some sort of Z move, maybe Tectonic Rage, DarkMZ, even Iron Tail to deal with Diancie. That would be up to him. Now, I built this team with my boy Gypsy King, so big shout outs to him, as well as Zazo, who helped me test, and Styx, who built his team that he ended up testing with me. But a few big threats, like I said. Crocodile is a pain. Exploud, Specs Exploud is a monster. Metachamp can be very annoying. And another thing that stood out to me was obviously Tangela, because besides that, I just click 1,000 arrows and pretty much KO or 2-hit KO everything. Tangela has to come this game. So my team is designed to abuse T-Spikes and wear down Tangela and whatnot. So the first Pokemon we have is Tox-Spike Defensive Roserade. We're running 180 speed, timid. Allows me to outspeed max speed Metachamp. Metachamp is a threat. Half my team has Protect on it, but and I do have I am obviously bringing my Zudo, my Mesprit this round, but it's still generally a threat, and I want to be able to outspeed it just in case it'd be clutch if it's not like a Scarf Metachamp or anything like that, and be able to pick it off with maybe a Venoshock. If you guys don't know, T-Spikes make Venoshock 130 base power. It's pretty much Hex for poison types, and yeah, it doubles in power over T-Spike. And the big thing about this is, while it's not typically as reliable to run a move like that because your opponent might have defog and whatnot, my opponent's defogger is Comfy, which doesn't defog versus Roserade, and the rapid spinner would be Anorith. So his hazard control, at least in this game, isn't that good. Comfy could come because it can deal with Zydog, but I mean Roserade pretty much raw shuts it down. My team can beat it hard, or hit it hard, as you guys will see as well. So I think that T-Spike are going to stay there for the majority of the game. Giga Drain is the third move that I have because I wanted a way of hitting Jellicent as well as Crocodile, both of which are 2-hit KO by that, especially with T-Spike, no matter the set. And then I decided on Synthesis as the last move, as it'll allow me to repeatedly switch in on knockoffs, Hidden Power Fire, some Tangela, weaker moves from Klefki, and with the 52 Spadef investment, 252 HP, I guarantee live one modest Specs Boom Burst from Exploud. So this is a good way of scouting as well if he wants to bring an Exploud on Roserade, or I can get up a T-Spike versus Exploud, because Roserade gets a free synthesis whenever it comes in on anything that is not Crocodile, basically. Another cool thing is I live Pursuit over once I'm a little bit over half, so even if I switch out, I'll live Pursuit from Crocodile. And the rest was just put into special attack and defense just because they were the extra EVs I had, basically. But timid, max HP. I think bulky Roserade is the way to go here with the natural cure as it becomes a Tangela switching. Next up we have Zudo the Mesprit. Now I wanted to run Calm Mind this week because the combination of Energy Ball and Psyshock hits his entire team outside of Magneton, which I have a few solid checks for anyway. I mean, even Roserade, even though it doesn't hit it for most, it hits it for not very effective damage. Mag, unless it's running into Violite, isn't going to appreciate it. So we have Calm Mind, Protect, Energy Ball, and Psyshock. I like Protect a lot because it helps him scout versus Knockoff and Pursuit on Crocodile. If it's like Scarf Metacham in the late game, it helps him get 50% off if he needs to go for that. Helps me scout Volt Switch from Mag, things like that. And also, more importantly, racks up another turn of poison, which could be the difference between me KOing something like Exploud, for example, or not. Now, I have Psyshock over Psychic. Even though Psychic does hit his team harder, we opted for Psyshock just because Calm Mind, Comfy could be a little bit of a problem. So at least with Psyshock, I can win the Calm Mind war unless he has Taunt and hit him on the defensive side. And again, Energy Ball was picked because it hits Crocodile for super effective damage, Jellicent, and just a good neutral move in general versus him. Max HP, 92 plus defense, and I went 164 speed. That way I can outspeed modest Specs Exploud because that is a threat. And if I have a turn of poison on Exploud, right, I bring in Mesprit, I go for Calm Mind, that's another turn of poison. I go for Protect, that's another turn of poison. I can knock him out with Psyshock depending on the EV spread. So basically, Protect helps poison rack up, helps me gain leftovers recovery, and helps me also scout for knockoff versus crunch versus pursuit. But I thought the Mesprit would be a really good build, as Protect also gives me back a little bit of leftovers recovery, especially since this is my initial switch into Metacham. Psyshock also hits something like Electric if it's, well, it's going to be Electric, E-Electric is going to be running Eviolite, so I guess it wouldn't be running Assault Vest. Or it shouldn't anyway. The only downside of Psyshock versus Psychic is I don't hit Tangle as hard, but the fact that I do have a knockoff lure on my team, as you guys will see, as well as T-Spike, I don't think that matters as much. So next up we have Steve the Diancie. Now this EV spread allows me to take guaranteed 3 Modest Specs Boom Bursts from the X-Cloud. It's a 0.4% chance to 3 at KO, meaning it's a 0% chance because it rounds down. So it takes 4 Boom Bursts to knock out Diancie. The Shuckaberry plus 84 defense investment allows me to take 1+1 Earthquake from Crocodile. So if it gets a Moxie boost somehow in the late game, but another important thing about Mesprit is if it is a Scarf Crocodile, which I think is relatively good versus me, considering I have 2 resistances to Earthquake on my team as a whole, Vullaby and Mesprit. Shuckaberry will help me out in that regard. Like I said, 84 defense lets me take a +1 Earthquake, which equates also to a Choice Band Earthquake if my opponent has it. 20 special attack investment, guaranteed knocked out Crocodile after Poison, just guaranteed. Also guaranteed knocks out Fracture after Poison. Another reason why I want to run a Shuckaberry, because Fracture could be a threat if it sets up, and I wanted to be able to knock it out with Poison as well. That's counting Eviolite. And the rest at 4 for speed, but the set is Moonblast, Protect, Earth Power, and Trick Room. Now, Moonblast, I already know it's pretty obvious what it hits. Medicham, Crocodile, it's my stab, Fracture. Earth Power I wanted because I didn't want to give Magneton a free switch-in if I could help it. I didn't really need another attack in my opinion. Besides that, Moonblast is literally not resisted by his team, and it hits his team pretty hard as well. Now, I went for Trick Room in the last slot because if it is like a Scarf Crocodile at the end, and maybe he has like Scarf Crocodile plus Scarf Medicham confirmed, and I have like a late game Diancie plus maybe Hariyama or Mesprit. It can get a little bit tricky depending on how it goes. So I like Trick Room a lot because it gives me the option to potentially sweep him as well with the poison damage. And it's really, really cool because, again, he has a little bit of faster team. I didn't really need a last move. I did not want to put Stealth Rock on Diancie because I knew that if I put rocks on it, I'd be tempted to go for rocks with it. And what that means is that a turn that I could be firing off a Moonblast for free damage on his team, I'd go for Stealth Rock when trying to when coming in on X-Cloud, and maybe X-Cloud, if I wanted to, can go for another Boom Burst. So I didn't want to put rocks in it because I did not want to click them. Next up, we have Key, the Seismitoad. I wanted a dedicated switch into Crocodile, something that's not 2 KO by Earthquake or knockoff or anything like that. And I thought Seismitoad would be the great, pretty much the best one to do it. It also blocks Volt Switch and is resistant to Flash Cannon from Mag. And if Mag wants to come, HP Ice is an option for hitting Zygarde, obviously, if it wants to bring like a Scarf Mag or anything like that. So Seismitoad also comes in a role there. This is also a stealth rocker for me, allowing me to pick up those KOs on Crook with, like I said, a Moonblast, pretty much same thing as Poison. Again, his hazard control is really non-existent, so piling up as many hazards as possible. I didn't really want to bring Spikes because I wanted all 4 of those moves on Roserade. I think it's just beneficial for me. Now, I have knockoff here because his best switch-ins to Seismitoad are either Jellicent or Tangela, both of which I have 100% switching in Roserade on. But if I get rid of Tangela as a Violite, it means that Psyshock does more. It means that Moonblast is a ton from Diancie. It means that my dog can 2-hit KO Tangela with Stealth Rock plus Poison if it switches into Outrage, because I'm adamant Outrage. And yeah, it just does damage. And Protect, again, helping me rack up Poison. It's just really too much, I think, for his team. Just helping me rack up Poison. It's literally free damage turn per turn and giving me leftovers recovery. Water Absorb, so I can switch it on Jellicent's water moves. And then Surf, because this gives me a strong hit versus Crocodile, a super effective hit versus Crocodile. Still hits X-Cloud, Medicham decently hard, and Mag for good damage. I could have went for Earth Power, and the only upside to Earth Power over Surf is Magneton KO, but also not letting Fracture really set up on me. But with the Poison, that's more than likely going to happen to Fracture. If he brings it, and the knockoff getting rid of the Violite, it easily goes down to extreme speed for my dog. I won't even be able to knock out Seismitoad unless it's Z Outrage, which I will scout for or protect. But it's a pretty crucial part. Now, again, I talked about Adamant Choice Band Dog. I mean, I built with Gypsy King, so you already know he's going to suggest this thing. But the cool thing about his squad is that he has one Pokemon that is off the ground, which is Electric. And basically that means that 1,000 Arrows and 1,000 Waves are both useful here. 1,000 Arrows obviously hitting everything on his team for neutral, super effective, or not very effective in Tangela's case. But 1,000 Waves is really cool too because Tangela is always coming in on Zygarde, right? But he knows Roserade is more than likely always coming in on Tangela, but my beat going for 1,000 waves, he can't double that turn. So he's forced to stay in, forced to take a turn of poison, and I'm able to go out to my Roserade and set up a T-Spike. If I didn't already have one up, obviously I just talked about turn of poison, but he's forced to stay in, and it gives me that T-Spike as quickly as possible. Adamant Choice Span, Zygarde outspeeds his entire team, hits him incredibly hard. I have extreme speed. This can help me check a boosted Fracture, a Scarf Crocodile, Scarf Medicham if they're weakened, things like that. And then Outrage is my last move. Besides his Comfy, and Mag, Outrage, 2-hit KOs or OKOs, everything on his team if Tangela's Violite is gone. So that's why Adamant Outrage was the goal. So last but not least, I wanted a switch in to Hariyama, another Dark Resist if possible. Hariyama, switching to X-Cloud if possible, another Dark Resist, something that could also help me relieve the pressure from Magneton. So I decided to bring Guts Hariyama with an Assault Vest. We have Fake Out, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Heavy Slam. Now, I think Fake Out, Close Combat, and Knockoff are just the most important moves. Fake Out, again, it's free chip, it's a free turn. Rack that up with Poison, rack that up with Stealth Rock. Damage is coming, right? Close Combat, obviously, I don't gotta show you what it hits. Knockoff is there for Jellicent, getting rid of his Violites. Then I have Heavy Slam because it gives me some backup insurance versus Comfy with an Assault Vest, and I'm Careful Nature, max HP, 236. 236 Spadef. The 20 HP, by the way, lets me guarantee take a Banded Earthquake from Crocodile after 2 Stealth Rock switchings. So I guarantee take that with 20 defense and 252 HP. But with the Spadef investment and the fact that Hariyama is so heavy and Comfy is not, I have 120 base power, Heavy Slams versus that. So even if it's like a defensive Comfy, I'll easily 2-hit KO it. And with Poison damage racking up and Draining Kiss not recovering as much because of my Assault Vest, I'll be beating it 1v1. But this is a mod that's also not 2-hit KO by Modest Specs X-Cloud's Boom Burst, and this just is to relieve the pressure on Diancie just in case I need my Shucka Berry for late game. But that's the team for this week. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Always love to see them. And I will see you guys next time. Our Bronx Beartics game should be going up at 2 p.m. on Sundays as they usually do. And I'll see you guys. So goodbye, my friends.